right, we are on here a little bit late this evening, but we are getting started with our discussion tonight. As always, I like to give everybody a little bit of time to come into the room. Hey, Brittany. Hi, Makita. Hey, Kennedy. Welcome in. Thank you guys for coming in. Forgive me for being slightly behind schedule, but yeah, I just got my days and all mixed up. I am putting my little chapstick on because I just finished another live. Of course, ladies who are ready to be an interactive part of the discussion, raise your hand. Come on up. We are going to listen to this song one time through. And then once that song is done, then we will get started with our discussion. I'm just pinging my other self into the room, my assistant. If there are any folks who you know could benefit from this conversation, please feel free to ping them into the room, because this is a very important topic, honestly. This is something that I think too many women kind of go through, and I want to start dispelling this myth, because it is a myth. So we're going to hear from a formal serial cheater tonight, and we are going to dispel that myth that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. And let's just get rid of the word at some point. So enjoy these tunes until we can get fully started in here. And again, if there's anyone who you know can benefit from this conversation, feel free to bring them on up. If you are a visual person and you want to see what I look like while I talk, feel free to head on over to my Instagram, Coach K101. And for any of our ladies, if you are on Facebook, we are also streaming live in our private Black Mama Facebook group. So feel free to come on over. We are about 15 seconds out from getting started. I got some definitions and some stories for y'all tonight. Go grab something to sip on. Use the restroom if you need to, because you're not going to want to get up out your seat after we get started. All right, we are winding this song down. Thank you, Pop Can, for that song. All right. Thank you, everyone. And welcome to tonight's Sex and Relationship Chat. My name is Kanya, but you can call me Coach K. I am your certified sexuality coach, as well as a doula. And I'm joined up here by two of my beautiful compadres from our private Facebook group, Black Mama, where every single Tuesday at 7:30 p.m., tonight was a special time, but at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I bring you a new topic, everything life, love, and intimacy. And so tonight we're hearing from a formal serial cheater, and we are looking to truly dispel the myth, turning hoes into housewives. I don't even really like the term, but it's there. So let me start with this definition of what a whore is. W-H-O-R-E. Okay? A whore is a prostitute or someone who provides sexual services as a profession. Now, where does the word hoe come from? Well, in certain parts of the country, the R is not pronounced at the end, thus creating the word hoe. And so it became this derogatory name that children, yes, I said children, start to call other children in school as a hurtful insult. Overall, it is seen as a promiscuous woman, is what that would be. And it also became this bad thing, derogatory thing, for a woman to be known as a hoe. So then it became a statement that was made on a lot You can't turn a hoe into a housewife. And that made me think, where did this even start? Does this person even want to be a housewife? Did you try to make something into what it was not? Was this just a hurtful statement that was made to just embarrass someone? So, as y'all know, I'm pretty open about who I am and what I do and what I've done and where I came from. And I am a formal serial cheater. And when I say that, it was during a time where I had no love for myself. I did not like me. I did not love me. I did not value anything about myself. And so if anyone came anywhere remotely close to me trying to love me, I was like, whoa, what are you doing? Back it up. That's not what I do. And so instead of trying to open myself to receive any type of love, I rejected it immediately and I soothed myself by cheating. And so it was more fun to me to just date them all. But the problem was I was not dating on purpose. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even really call it dating. I was just flapping in the wind, sort of say. I would probably have been labeled completely. And I didn't care. But it wasn't until I realized that the only person that was getting the short end of this horse stick, sort of saying, was me. I didn't care about the title or the name that was given to me. I cared about how I felt at the end of the day when I got home. And so when I had my two girls, I really had to rethink this thing. Number one, everyone that I am in contact with could potentially find out where I live and harm my girls. No one came to my house. Let's get that very clear. No one came to my house. And that's because truly it was a transaction. Everything I did was transactional. There was no feelings, no love gained, no love lost. Because at that time I had a full barrier around me that was not even remotely open to absorbing anything but what I wanted in a physical aspect of feeling. That's the damage that I was. And so it wasn't until I had my children and I realized that life had to be better, because what I do is what they may become. And that is not what I wanted them to become. And so when I began my journey of self-love, pouring into myself, understanding myself, why was I doing the things that I did? Why did I reject anyone who thought that they could love me? Well, let's start to love myself. Let me recognize. When I did that 4-part series on the power of you, it was because those are the steps that I had to go through. I had to recognize and understand my example, the things that I saw, as to why I wasn't able to love me enough to be purposeful in what I was doing. And so once I got to that point of, okay, I'm now filling myself with my own love, what I deserve, what I want, what I need, and what I desire, that's when I shut all of that hurt and negativity out. And so to say that, make that statement, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, that is a true and utter myth of someone who may have been hurt by someone who did not want them. That is just my opinion, because in the traditional sense, I am that housewife. I am a faithful wife of over 18 years to my husband on purpose, because that is what I want to do. At this point in my life, I respect myself and my body enough to be faithful to one person. Did infidelity come into my marriage? Absolutely. It was actually before I got married. Did I retaliate by doing it back? No. Why? Because I respected myself. I loved me enough to say, I need to I need to be on purpose. I need to guard my body. The only one thing that I truly own in this entire world, let's be real, that's the only one thing that you own in this entire world is your body and your mind. And so it's when I understood that fully and wholly that I made a conscious decision to only allow myself to be loved appropriately, receive it appropriately, and give it out appropriately. And so I do say that is a myth that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Because in the traditional sense, I was a promiscuous girl. I wasn't a woman. I was a promiscuous girl living in a 10-year-old mind of hurt, of teasing, of believing what the children say. You're black, you're skinny, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. I believed all of that. And so I grew up in that. And I built up walls. But it wasn't until I wanted to live on purpose within love that hoe actually became a housewife. And a damn good one now. I'm going to pat myself on the back. Thank you, everyone who joined us in the audience. Anyone who wants to become an interactive part of the discussion, please feel free to raise your hand and come on up. We are in the sex and relationship chat where we are talking to a formal serial cheater, and we are dispelling the myth that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, because it's simply not true. What we do is what we do on purpose. So please feel free to raise your hand, come up, share your information with us, share your wisdom with us. If you think otherwise, please absolutely come up and let us know. I am not here to be right. I am only here to be heard and exchange information. So absolutely feel free to come up and speak with us. Hey, Miss Juicy over here on Instagram. And yes, Miss Brittany, you were going to talk with us.
No, I was just agreeing with you, Coach. I mean, I don't know. I was just agreeing with everything you just said. And, like, just thinking of that last part of you saying, you know, you're a damn good one. Like, you know, I don't know why they feel like the odds is against you just because, you know, you may have been promiscuous when you were, you know, younger. Or, you know, just like in that stage, everyone goes through that stage where they're learning themselves, learning their bodies, and, you know, trying, you know, different things, different people.
Thank you.
You know, we all go through that stage. I don't see I don't see why that would make you any less than, you know, of being someone's wife or husband, for that matter. So, you know, I just think, you know, that whole turning the hoe into a housewife is not true. You know, little girls, they don't grow up thinking, you know, they're going to be promiscuous or whatever. We all, you know, well, I'm not going to say we all, because I don't want to speak for everyone, but I'm pretty sure, you know, a lot of us, you know, we dream about the day we get married, the day we have kids, you know, we think about all of those things. We think about one day being a housewife or a wife in general. So, you know, but life happens, and, you know, again, you know, we have to go through things to get through things and learn things about ourselves. So that don't make us any less than, you know, when it's time to, you know, jump the broom.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. If I may, Coach, I definitely wanted to just step in and co-sign what you and Brittany both said. And also just going back to what you said earlier about people, about that myth just coming from a hurt place in someone, right? I noticed that a lot with men. You know, these what's the word I'm looking for? These stereotypes about women, yes, a lot of times stem from a hurt place. And, you know, instead of what I urge people to do, men and women, instead of just, you know, projecting that onto someone, get some help and get it fast.
Yes, you said an entire mouthful. If there is someone who is usually a young woman or young boy, young man, who may be on a promiscuous spree, there is some level of hurt within them that they're lashing out this way. So people lash out in different ways. Some people lash out in anger. Some people lash out, you know, they start stealing. Some people honestly lash out sexually. That's a real thing. And so if you see this, instead of just deeming, oh, you're a hoe, you're never going to amount to anything. Instead of further beating whatever it is that's hurting them in them, it's seeking what it is, talking about it, so that we can continue to dispel the myth. Because it wasn't until I loved me that I stopped giving myself away. And that's what I was. I was just giving myself away. I didn't care who it was. Half the time I didn't even want to talk to them afterwards. I just was like, okay, whatever. And then I was done. But now I have sex on purpose with my husband because I love him. I love everything about him. Even if we just hold each other, we don't even have to have actual intercourse. I love everything about him because I love everything about me. And until I loved everything about me, there was no way in the world I could love anything about him and it be on purpose. Hey, Michelle, welcome on up. You would like to add to our conversation this evening?
Hello, everyone. I do want to add a little bit. Hold on, I'm putting my food in the air fryer. I just want to say that I always call myself a reformed hoe. And a lot of my whole behaviors did come from a place of hurt. I've been sexually assaulted before, so I wanted to find the power in sex. I wanted to find the good. I wanted to, make it about me. Now, as far as like turning a hoe into a housewife, that's the only thing that I struggle with, because not saying that I can't be faithful or anything like that, but it's hard when you're used to just seeing a guy. If you like him, you want to just do something. Like if I will see a guy and I'm sexually attracted to him, I'm gonna say what I got to say to get what I want to get. But then it's like, and then I get with someone, and then all of a sudden all these fine men get to coming around, and it's so hard for me to not go there with someone. But again, like you said, I am on a journey of, learning another level of self-love. So maybe those feelings will subside or anything like that. But I mean, I just want to say you were right, because a lot of my whole behaviors did come from hurt. It did come from pain. It came from me, like I said, wanting to turn sex into something that I had control over and not someone having control over me.
Yes.
So now I still struggle with that, loving that different variety. Like I was saying earlier, like I love attention. It's just something about attention from multiple fine men that just...
So listen to exactly what you're saying. You have a recognition of what it is that makes you feel amazing. And so that's powerful in itself, because what that is saying to you is, you know what you need to fill you with. You love attention. So when are you going to start giving yourself that attention that you seek? Because once you start to give yourself the attention that you seek, there is no one that could top that attention, to the point that I'm not going to say when you are with the person that you are ready to be with and ready to share that space, a million fine Mickey Fickies will walk past your eye. And you may even say, hey, babe, look, but there will not be an attraction to the point where you want to swerve off and do anything. And that's when you have been filled with what it is that you seek. So I love that you know what you seek and what you desire, because you already know that part is what you were working on. And when those tests are sent and they become few and far between of you just trying to swerve off, you know that you're doing the work.
Thank you. I'm going to pay attention to that.
Absolutely. Like everything that I do, I know you guys hear me talk about it a whole lot, but when I talk about that Own Your Ish Sis boot camp, like literally those 5 weeks are those things that I had to learn. It is not an easy road. It is not an easy road to go from the comfort zone. Because typically what we do is when we get to that point, we found somebody, oh my gosh, when we get scared of receiving the love that we deserve, because we don't know it yet, because we haven't given it to ourselves, we revert back to that comfort zone. And that comfort zone may be cheating. That comfort zone is being, howled at by multiple guys, or just getting somebody coming up and asking for your phone number. That feels good. Let's be real. It's like, oh, I still got it. That's one of those things. But when you filled yourself with a certain level of your own self, you can say, oh, I still got it, crumble that paper up and throw it away. That was just okay. That felt good for the moment. But no one can top what I can give me at all. That is a journey. That's what that boot camp is all about. It's truly unapologetically teaching other people how to treat you, up to and including yourself. Because we got to learn how to treat us too. So it is more than just getting over the serial cheating piece. So you're absolutely right on that. It's then being able to feel yourself. And you notice when I told that story, after I came out of that place, I had to feel myself. I had to fill it with all the things that I was seeking externally.
And I don't want to cut you off.
You're fine.
I just thought about this. So when I was much younger, I've never had a love like this since. So there was this guy, and oh my gosh, he wasn't perfect, but I've never had a man love me like that. But sexually, it wasn't satisfying. So I cheated on him all the time, but I loved him so much. But because I wasn't sexually satisfied, I was bogus. I used to have men dropping me off at his house and everything.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness. And they knew I had a man, and they was like, oh yeah. But I was still messing with them. Yeah, take me to my boo house, please. But I don't know. And then I will say there is a slight fear that once I get in a situation where I do feel that type of love, that if I'm not sexually satisfied, if it's not the type of sex that resonates with me, that I will go seeking it somewhere else. I do have that fear.
Ooh, I love that you said that. Let me tell you why I love that you said that. Like to hear it go. Sex starts in your mind, and your body follows. So that blockage that you had for the man that was loving you so well that you were so scared to actually let him penetrate your mind was why you sought the sex piece somewhere else. So when the partner that you get with is able to truly penetrate your mind and share that mental space of intimacy with you, where you may have thought that sexual attraction was, they're going to be stroking that and touching that. And there would be nothing sexually they cannot do for you. And so if you really think about it, you were still in fear of having that love upon you. And that's why you could not sexually get there with the person that you said loves you to no end. It scared the hell out of you and you shut it down. And so your comfort zone was having sex with other people, that cheating era, right? That was your comfort zone. And so that's what you went back to. That kept you in a safe place. So once you continue to, and you're on this journey, and once you hit that full-blown journey, once you hit that plateau, there won't be a person that won't be able to penetrate. Because the thing is, we'll be okay with being vulnerable. So I know, like when I first got with my husband, found out he was talking to somebody else. And I could have done what I used to always do, which was just go find somebody else. Just go cheat. Do it back, right? And I said, you know what? If I don't understand and feel this level of hurt that I gave to so many people for all of those years, how can I appreciate this moving forward? And believe me, I was that, oh no, one time you cheated on me, I'm out. I was that person. But it was my personal journey into me that was able to make me sit still, feel that pain tremendously, Go through every part of it. And I use those 5 stages of grief that I talked about. If you want to see that video, go to my IGTV and sit in that. And to this day, it's well over 10 years later. To this day, my husband hurts more about what he did to me than I was ever in that position whatsoever. And that's because I didn't do it back. I won't say I deserve that, because I don't deserve that kind of hurt, but I needed to see what that felt like. I needed to know what I did to people. That hurt that I felt is what I was doing to other people when I hated myself. Because we got to think, when we cheat, we are hurting someone to their core, because we're leading them on to think one thing, and we could give 2 shits about what they want, because we're only thinking about ourselves on a surface level. So understanding that is like, okay. And we were able to move forward. And I will tell you, we have been stronger from that point forward. And when I tell you about lashing out sexually, you know, when you are upset, I did. I lashed out sexually. And I gave him bouts of, intimacy and sex that he was like, whoa, what is this? I said, you know what? I refuse to cheat on you. So I'm going to give you what I would have been doing out in the street back in my day. That's how I got over that. That's how I use that to move forward. That's why I'm able to be in this place today. So once you get over that fear piece of it, you'll be able to have your mind penetrated. And you may get into a point of being hurt. And that's when you have to make that decision. Do I go back to a comfort place, or do I stand in this understanding? And you can choose to not stay. I'm not telling anyone. If you've ever been in a situation of infidelity, I am not telling you to stay. But what I am asking you to do is walk through it. Walk through that process. Understand it. Feel it. Let it emerge onto you. Because that will let you know exactly what it is that someone else felt from you. So that if you do stay, you know what it feels like. But if you do go to someone else, you would understand that that's not a feeling that I ever want for anyone else or myself. And I hope that makes sense to you, what I'm saying.
Makes sense.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What's your advice to someone who has been cheated on?
So, and just so you know, there is a IGTV on this too. But for someone who's been cheated on, I talked in depth more with knowing the specifics, but in an overall, I will always say there are 2 routes that you want to take. You can either accept it and stay, or you can accept it and leave. But you can't do both. And this is what I mean. You can't accept, stay, and continue to throw this back into the pit every time you get upset. If you accept and stay, you both need to walk through the healing process together with a understanding that, number 1, you are not the reason that someone else cheats. That's the first thing that you need to understand. I don't care if you didn't have sex for a week and somebody said, well, that's why I cheated. Bullshit. I don't care if you didn't wash a dish. I don't care. You are not the cause of someone else cheating on you. Understand that. But when you all are working through this, there needs to be 100% and 100% effort to move past it. Some people want to know the gory details. I honestly don't recommend that you know the gory details versus at least having just an overview. I do recommend that you get to the why, because even though it will never, it's not you. Listen to the words of the why. Listen with more than your ears, because you will see that underlying thing. I know that in my situation, it was what was seen. The highest person in that person's life did it, so every woman would do it. Now, if you choose to accept and leave, then you need to not carry that into the next relationship. That's a huge thing. But it is important that you properly grieve that relationship as it was before the infidelity. Hear me when I tell you, you have to properly grieve that relationship, what it was before the infidelity, in order to start a new relationship moving forward. Because if you don't, you will take that infidelity in the back of your mind into everything you do. And you will paint it with that taint, everything you do. Every time that your partner's phone rings, you're going to think that it's somebody else. Every time they go to the store, you're going to think they're meeting somebody. And it will snowball and snowball to the point where you may do something that you might regret. Don't let yourself be taken into a pitful place that changes what you do based on what someone else's actions were. I never make that call of telling somebody to stay or leave, because that is not my call. The only thing I do for my clients is give them tools, help them walk through it, and let them make that decision moving forward. But leaving is not always the answer for cheating. I hope I answered that a little bit.
You did. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And welcome everyone who's just coming on. Thank you for joining us tonight for Sex and Relationship Chat, where we come here every night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight was a special night where we are hearing from a former serial cheater, and we are dispelling the myth that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, because it's simply not true. We are talking about how we are able to recognize the why it has happened, and that quote unquote hoe is just probably a hurt person that's looking for some guidance. So if there's anyone that is in the audience that would like to come up and be an interactive part of the conversation, please feel free to raise your hand and come up, offer insight. And if you disagree with anything, please let us know, because I am not here to be right. I am here to be heard and make sure that I can inform as many people as I can and give them as many options as they would like.
Well, thank you, Coach. I really enjoyed this piece, and I love the last part when you said, as far as someone being cheated on, that you can either stay and work it out, or you can leave, but you can't do both. Like, that is so true. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Something I learned watching, it was actually the Braxton Family Values one day. Miss Evelyn, Choni was sharing a piece of advice that Miss Evelyn, their mom, had gave to them when she was younger, and she just said, if you're not going to leave, let him cheat in peace. Why are we going to keep... Yes, why are we going to keep causing all this chaos and ruckus in the household when you're not going to leave? And I think that even just goes beyond cheating. Like, whatever the issue is with your spouse, if you're not going to work on it with them, if you're not going to leave, like, if it's so bad to where you feel the need to bring it up every time you're in an argument, or bring it up every day, or whatever the case may be, leave, or just stop bringing it up. Like, stop stressing yourself out.
Yeah, so I like that you said if you're not going to work on it, because there are a lot of situations where men and women, they just sit. They sit and they fester and they harbor resentment, anger, hatred for something that the other party is doing. And when it comes to the infidelity piece, gaslighting is a real thing. And that is usually what's the first thing that comes into play, is someone making you feel like or think you're crazy. And the thing is, the reason why I'm so adamant about people becoming whole human beings, becoming your whole self, filling yourself with so much love within you, is that you won't allow yourself to be gaslit. You will be able to understand, recognize, and know exactly what it is that you do know. You know, they say, don't go looking for things if you're not ready to find it or hear the answer or something like that. If you are looking for something, what they say, a little smoke, there's usually some fire. If you're going to look, you damn sure better be prepared for whatever it is that you're going to find and to take action on it. I don't I'm not a proponent of sitting in something that makes you miserable. I am a proponent of, if you find something, take action about it. Sometimes action is sitting in it. I think it's hurtful to yourself. It's hurtful to the children. If there are children involved, it is hurtful to the rest of the family that may be involved. So I feel you when you say, don't keep making a bunch of noise if you just gonna stay in it. Either be quiet or work on it. Speak on it. Don't just bring it up when you're angry. And that's a big thing. When it comes to infidelity, those conversations cannot happen when you're angry. And honestly, they need to be on your terms. The person that cheated, they don't have rights to tell you when you have that discussion. But I will say, you need to have that discussion in a manner that is not in an angry place, because you will get nowhere.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you consider conversation cheating?
Conversations is where cheating can start. So let me tell you about that. There is a meme that was going around to say infidelity starts with sneaky conversation. Is bullshit. Infidelity starts with unbounded conversations. A conversation with little to no boundaries can go into a place that neither party intended or that one of the parties intended. One thing that I despise is the term work wife or work husband. That to me is the beginning of a potential horrible situation. If you have allowed yourself to be so engaged with another party at work that someone considers you to be the wife or the husband, you have taken it too damn far. So conversations can lead to a place of infidelity unknowingly, potentially to one of the other or the other party. And that is because, as I say in every one of my bedroom candy parties, in every single one of my sessions, sex starts in the mind. So if someone is engaging someone else's mind to the point where they become so comfortable that they stop forming or keeping boundaries, then that can become a dangerous place. So conversations are okay if they're in a bounded space. It's when those boundaries become gray and loose that things can get out of hand. If they're conversations that you cannot share with your partner, that's a problem. If it's conversations that have a little tone of flirtation, that's a problem. If it's conversations that are truly unnecessary, that's a problem. But what I will say is, and it's going to be one of the rooms that's coming up actually, friends are necessary in relationships, but you have to watch who it is that is the friends that's in the relationship. I know conversations can lead to a horrible place, so you just have to make sure that that boundaries are set, met, and are important. And that comes with, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You can finish. I don't want to cut you off.
I was going to say that comes with keeping open communication at home a real thing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that just kind of resonated with me because y'all don't judge me now. So in my whole phase, I have definitely messed with married men. I've also messed with, people that are in relationships, especially if you're in just the girlfriend, boyfriend thing. I would never respect that. Especially if I know the female, I don't know her. But I did have one with one of my very best friends. And it's just, we have conversations that a married man and a single woman shouldn't have had. Yeah. And so, we was bogus too. Like, he was visiting his mother, and his mother lived in like a 2-flat, so 2 apartments. It was with her and her mother. And so anyway, this was just one of the worst times that we did it. His grandmother had just passed, so we was in his grandmother's house because no one was there, and his wife was literally upstairs, and we were right downstairs doing what we do for days on end. Just, that was just terrible. But again, like you said, it all started with the fact that he and I talk like he wasn't married. We made plans like he wasn't married. Yeah. So I'm not only like a serial cheater on dudes. I've cheated. I've been I guess you can say the mistress or whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's true. You have to stop those intimate conversations with someone who's with someone else. And I do that a lot. I've had that a lot. Like with guys, they share secrets, they share whatever, and the next thing you know, we bumping and grinding and juicing.
Yeah, and it happens so easily. It goes from those innocent conversations. And thank you for even sharing that. And I'll just do a quick reset. So welcome everyone that's just joining us on Instagram and Facebook, as well as here on Clubhouse. We are talking to a former serial cheater and dispelling the myth you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. We are having very good conversations about the place of where the term hoe comes from and where we need to build ourselves up wholly so that we're not wholly, get that, huh? So that we're not continue to be placed in that position. I am joined here on Clubhouse with anyone who would like to be an interactive part of the conversation. Please feel free to raise your hand and come on up. And if you disagree with the statement that turning a hoe into a housewife is a myth, please share that with us, because we want to hear from everyone. I'm not here to be right. I am only here to be heard and to help as many people as I can to truly become the biggest, best version of themselves. Hey, Blunt, welcome. I'm talking to somebody over there on Facebook, just so y'all know. So I'm talking on 3 different devices here, so I'm not crazy. But please feel free to come up. Instagram or Facebook, if you have a comment, please drop it in the comment section so that we can continue to talk about it. I am so grateful that you are up here and able to be transparent, all of you, with me about this topic. These are truly topics that we live every single day, and we don't talk enough about it. It's a real thing. The whole thing about the conversations, working in HR, I saw and heard so many things, and that's why I know that something as innocent as, you don't have your lunch? Let me share my lunch with you. And that becomes a regular thing, to the point where whoever's not getting lunch from at home anymore, they're purposely having this time. You're at work about, I'd say, yes, anyone can change their cheating habits if they want to. Absolutely, Blunt. We are definitely talking about that for sure. You're at work probably a quarter of the time, maybe sometimes even half of your life, right? You're at work. And so you're with these people who you start to share information with. You start to share when you're upset with your partner, when they want to go somewhere and you don't want to go. So you're sharing this information out, and someone is soaking this in. Somebody who is still in a hurt place, who is hollow inside, is soaking this in. Because they hear the passion that you have for your partner when you're speaking, and they want that. And so as they're soaking this in, they start to converse back and forth of a place of understanding. Oh, that's messed up that she made you do this. Well, why don't you try doing this? You don't have to go there. So that's how those conversations can absolutely lead into physical. So thank you for bringing that up for sure.
I just want to say I appreciate the transparency.
Yeah, I love it. Like, it's difficult, but if we're able to, and honestly, if you're able to talk about kind of the things that you've gone through as a young person that has gotten you to this place today, you truly appreciate everything that you learn. You start to see maybe the hurt trail that you leave behind. I think that journey of self-love is a difficult one because we often don't want to give ourselves permission to forgive ourselves. We don't want to give ourselves permission to understand that we're human beings and that we were hurt from someone. We don't want to give ourselves the permission to grow. So I give that to anyone who's under the sound of my voice that may be on that journey. Give yourself permission. Go look at yourself and say to yourself, I give you permission to grow. I give you permission to shed the stereotype. I give you permission to start to love on purpose. I give you permission to love me on purpose. I give you permission to understand that I am better than I was yesterday. Start giving yourself that to the point where it's a no-brainer. You just know it automatically. When you get the urge to go back to that comfortable place, stop. Ask yourself, why do we need to do this? When you start to question yourself and you can't answer, you'll get so busy trying to figure out the answer, you forget about what you were about to do. Date yourself. In our Black Mama Facebook group, we had a whole series on that, dating yourself. Touch yourself. Make yourself feel good sensually to open up your mind to enjoy yourself sensually, intimately, and sexually. Welcome up. Thank you.
Oh, no, Latoya.
Oh, and then I just wanted to come up. I had a question, like, more so of a, what do you call this? Okay, so I would say I'm not a youngster, but in my younger days, I kind of didn't really care. Like, we young, we can having fun. I just I was having fun. Got married young, and still was having fun. We both were. And I figured out for myself, you're a mama, you're a wife. You can't be out here, air quote, having fun. Get your shit together, be a wife, be a mom. But now we're not together. So it's kind of like Buck Wild Sally. But it comes and goes. So do you think there's still a place from hurt? Or it's just the aware of what you want to do type thing? Because I heard you say, a while ago, it was mostly coming from a place of hurt. But I felt like I was just being young. But now I'm older, but I'm still doing the same thing. I don't feel like I'm hurt. But just kind of doing what I want because I wasn't doing it at first. What would you call that?
I would say if you are doing this on purpose for you and you properly grieve the ending of that previous relationship, then I will call that you're doing you. But the biggest thing is, if you're not doing this on purpose for the sake of just enjoyment, then you're still coming from a place of hurt. Sometimes we can use, honestly, sex can soothe the hurt place. So, huh?
I said that makes sense.
Yeah, if you do it, and then after the fact, you just have this large regret of, oh my gosh, why? Then you're still doing this from a place of hurt.
That was just my question. I was just curious.
That's actually a damn good question, because there are a lot of people who kind of get into relationships young, and so they have to conform to this thing that you really don't know how to conform to because you're young. Mm-hmm. And so when you kind of get out of it, and you're like, okay, I'm older, I'm more mature. Mm-hmm. I should be able to do what the heck I want.
So in my mind, while I'm married, I was just doing what was right.
Right.
Not cheating.
Right. And to be honest, when you got out of that relationship, your mind went back to your teen years before you got married or in your 20s. And so when you got out of that relationship, what would have been the best thing to do, and even to this point now, is to slip back to that 20-year-old and start building herself with herself. Start filling her with the appropriate love that she needed when she was young, and she was blocked by having to turn into mom and wife. And then as you build that person up, when you move forward, if you are out and you are just having fun, because I'm all about it, date them all. If you are single, go for it, but make sure you're doing it on purpose. If you are, that's Kennedy's phrase, date them all. If you are out here
every single last one, please.
if you're doing it on purpose to the point where you can go out, you have sex, and you come home and you're just okay, you're fine, you still love you no differently, you don't feel regret, then that is a place of purpose, not a place of hurt.
Coach, real quick, after special requests, so after you do your we're coming to the end. Can we have a segment where, because I'm so glad Latoya came up here and asked her question, because I've been wanting to ask you this for a minute, but I was I never want to bombard her room or change the topic. But tonight it was perfect because it's along the lines of this. But I don't want to say it on anything that's going to be recorded. So at the end, can we have a quick 5-minute Clubhouse only chat?
Yeah, I tell you what, because we are actually wrapping up in 6 minutes. So Clubhouse, hold tight. I'm going to wrap up on my other 2 platforms. I'll be right back after this commercial break. Hold on. All right, guys. So we are going to wrap up for tonight. I thank you all for joining me. Make sure that you come back here every single Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our sex, love, and relationship and sex and relationship chat. Thank you again, and I will see you guys next week. We're going to do something. So if you're not on Clubhouse, then you're missing it. You need to be on Clubhouse following Coach K 101. Okay? Bye, y'all.